to another module in grade 9 biology. Okay, we're still under the biological sciences, but we have a new module, module number 3, and we are going to begin it with a talk about the following learning competency number 5. Relate the species extinction to the failure of populations of organisms to adapt to abrupt changes in the environment. I know it's quite actually a really serious topic because we're going to tackle species extinction in this module. If you want to have a copy of this presentation, you may contact me through my Facebook page, facebook.com/knowledge catalog/ Yeah, let's begin. As usual, this session is divided into 3. The first part is a pre-assessment. You are going to name some photos and you're also going to do something about population in doing that. And then next is a discussion about population and biodiversity. And then the last part of this PowerPoint presentation is going to be about activity number 2, measuring population density. Okay, so for the first one, photo naming and population. So there are words in the box right here. Again, there are words in the box right here. Let me just get my laser point. Ayan. Right here, taking animals for profit, hunting and trapping, over-harvesting, introduced species, destruction of habitat, and pollution. Okay, and they are some of the causes of species extinction. Now, I want you to look at the pictures below that I'll be presenting you. Okay, and then identify which cause of extinction matches each of them, such as for number 1. Okay, I'll give you time to decide. If you need more time, actually, you may pause this video. If you have decided to continue, that means you are ready for the next photo. Number 2. You may pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, let's proceed to photo number 3. Pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, let us move on to photo number 4. Pause this video if you need more time. If you have decided to continue, let us now have the answers. The answer for photo number 1 is hunting and trapping. It's obvious he is obviously holding a rifle. Is that a rifle? I am not sure, but you know what I mean. And then this organism right here appears to be, dead. And then number 2, photo number 2, taking animals for profit. And this bear right here is doing something like this. So this is not something you expect a bear to just do out of their free will, but if they're trained for it, there are obviously some audience right here watching the bear or perhaps other animals too. So taking animals for profit is our answer to photo number 2. Photo number 3 is the destruction of habitat. This forest cover was habitat or was home to a wide array of insects, of animals, and even some small plants. Now, this cover has been destroyed. Photo number 4, pollution. Obviously, this is sewage from a factory. It appears so. Na factory siya kasi this black liquid coming from these pipes. They appear to be coming from somewhere that is doing some mass production of something. That is for the pre-assessment. These factors, these sample causes for species extinction affect populations of different organisms. By saying population, we mean it is the enumeration of organisms coming from the same type of species. Alright, so I would like to observe this GIF or GIF, Jiffy, however you want to call it. And I would like you to think about the population of the species here. As you can see, may mga pare-pareho ang kulay, may mga isda na pare-pareho ang kulay. Perhaps they are the same kind of species. Meron ding mga sponges dyan, right? So I would like you to focus on the different the similar organisms you see and different organisms you see. Okay, when we see population, we are referring to the enumeration of the red or orange fish. Kung ilan sila, ilang piraso nakikita ninyo, that is their population. Yun namang yun namang mga whites na may parang gold or mustard dito banda, this portion sa may bandang right. If you count them, that is you're trying to describe their population. Ito namang mga fish na to, as you can see right here, they are swimming sa may part na to. If you count them, you're also describing their population. And then itong mga magkakamukha na mga sponges dito, if you count them, that is, you're describing their population. Let's move to the next to marine ecosystem. So these fish, they seem to dominate this place. Unlike dun sa unang marine ecosystem, ito parang mas pare-pareho sila. Tama? I think you'll agree. Pare-pareho sila halos na itong mga moving creatures na to. Okay, so their population is dominating this part of the sea at this particular time. And then lastly, it's this photo. Okay, ito yung nakita mo siya. So mag-isa dyan, ito namang mga maraming fish na to. Their population dominates this place. Okay, whereas siya, at saka to, parang unique sila, no? Ayan, so population, when you count the number of organisms representing a particular species, you are describing the population. So in the first, second, and third GIF or GIF or GIFY, how many different organisms did you see? Okay. How about you take that now, you take that answer now, and then think about this plantation. Pinakita ko na lang yung nasa taas kasi, dudes, yung nasa ilalim lang din naman yan, mga coconut lang sila. Okay, so, yeah, I would like to observe this photo, this GIF, GIF, GIFY. Okay, it seems like, yeah, marami yata ang coconut sa place na to. And then this one, ito, Albi. Okay, so corn. It's a corn plantation. Now, compared to the marine ecosystems previously shown, do plantations like coconut and corn farms have higher biodiversity? Okay, so the marine ecosystems that were shown to you kanina, even though may mga nagdo-dominate na populations, makikita mo marami pa ring mga in the background. Same, you can expect some sponges to be around in the background kahit na mayroong dominating na population of a particular fish, which are obvious. May mga sponges din in the background na nagdo-dominate din in a way. Now, their biodiversity, the amount of differences when it comes to the present organisms is high. Okay, mas mataas sa marine ecosystems na pinakita ko kanina compared sa mga plantations dito kasi the coconut and in this very obvious corn plantation, mas marami at halos gumagamit lang talaga nung area is corn. So, mababa yung biodiversity. Okay, again, the plantations have lower biodiversity compared to the marine ecosystems. You can see hundreds of species in those reefs. Whereas dun sa corn plantation, nakita mo lang yung population halos talaga ng corn, yun lang ang nakikita mo kasi yun yung nagdo-dominate. Now, biodiversity refers to the variety of life that is found in an area. Halimbawa, in this photo, if you take this whole area in this photo as the surface area, for these organisms, ang nagdo-dominate talaga dito na na life form, perhaps sabihin mo yung weed or perhaps itong mga water buffalo, right? So that means that if there is one species that really dominates a particular place so much, then we can say that the biodiversity in that particular place is not too high. Okay. Now, just a little throwback kasi when I look at this photo, honestly, na-imagine ko is I'm going to Banal na Bundok. Yung path papunta dun sa fifth station. Okay, if you want to try, go to Ayala, Magalang, Pampanga. We have there 14th station themed na, na puntahan. It's a religious place. And for some, it's it's a place where they can just meditate and be quiet. Ayan. And then meron siyang ganyang klaseng path. May mga ganito siyang parts. And so, trees, and then may mga dried leaves sa ground. Organisms in these kinds of places, they need to have a balanced environment in a balanced ecosystem. So the amount of plants in this particular place, it's enough for the amount of organisms in this particular place. Also, I mean, other organisms like heterotrophs, yung mga nagre-rely sa mga plants. Para maging balance isang ecosystem, kailangan yung dami, yung population ng isang uri ng species is just enough para masuportahan ng ecosystem na yon. And that is true for the producers and for the consumers in that given ecosystem. Now tell me, what do you think is going to happen to the biodiversity of an area where the population of animals relying on eating plants increase at a very high rate compared to the population of plants? Halimbawa, masyadong marami yung mga grazing animals compared dun sa pwede na lang kainan na weed dun sa particular grassland na yon. What do you think is going to happen? You may pause this video and think about that. If you have decided to continue, I hope that you keep your answer with you, that you remember it. Okay. The last part of this session is going to be activity number 2, measuring population density. Our objectives are to determine the pattern of population distribution using mathematical formulae, and then to compare the distribution patterns of different populations. You may get an extra sheet of clean paper or your notebook for this activity. If you may pause this video to get those materials. If you have decided to continue, let's start. So I would like you to observe muna this illustration. So it's tama ba length? Okay, so the length. Okay, the length of this area is 20 centimeters. The width is 18 centimeters, and then as you can see here, may mga circles na mustard. They are Bermuda grass. Meron din mga squares na blue, clover, and then may mga triangles na red, representing lilies. You may pause this video and take a screenshot of it. Step number 1, study the 3 patterns of population distribution in this figure. Again, study the 3 patterns of population distribution in this figure. You may pause this video to have more time. If you want to count, you may pause this video. If you have decided to continue, let's proceed with step number 2. Solve for the area of the rectangle by using the following formula. The area of this rectangle, it's not a square, okay. Multiply the length by the width, okay, and then take note of that. And then count the number of organisms for each population. So you have here the population of Bermuda grass. It is represented, an organism is represented by one mustard oval. So this is one Bermuda grass, this is one Bermuda grass. So count them. Now, use that number to solve for the density of the given organism using the following formula. So the density of a particular population is equal to the number of individuals divided by the area in centimeters. So you may pause this video to count for the organisms representing each of these population in this area. If you have decided to continue, let us proceed. The third step is for you to fill in the following table with the missing information. So, Bermuda grass, how many organisms are there? And then, how will you describe their density? Just put it here. Clover, how many organisms were there? And how will you describe their density? So, for these cells, what I am asking you to write are numbers. Okay, so density, that's a number. Kasi you were supposed to solve for it. Question number 3, compare the distribution patterns of the 3 populations. You may pause this video so that you'll have more time. If you have decided to continue, let us proceed to question number 4. Which population has the greatest density? Pause this video to get more time. If you have decided to continue, let's proceed to question number 5. Infer from recorded data from the possible causes for the differences in the population density. So I would like you to infer based from the data that were presented in your table, what were the possible causes para dun sa differences in population density? Bakit kaya sila nagkakaiba-iba? What is the reason kung bakit ganun sila? Pause this video to get more time. If you have decided to continue, let's proceed. Question number 6. What conditions could change the density of any population? So we're talking about weather, perhaps, or availability of food. You may consider those too. If you want to have more time, pause this video. If you have decided to continue, let's proceed with the last question. Describe how a population's density can be used to learn about the needs and characteristics of that population. So, say for instance, if you learn that the population of plants in a particular place is low, okay, tell me, how would you be able to know, how would you be able to use that information, the density of that plant, in, learning about the needs and characteristics of that particular plant in that particular ecosystem? Pause this video if you need some more time. If you have decided to continue, let us proceed with the answers. Your table must have the following information. Bermuda grass has 57 organisms present in that area. Clover has 15. Lilies have 21. And their densities are as follows. So Bermuda grass has 0.16 as its index of density. Then clover has 0.04. And then lilies, it has 600ths. Okay. The answer to question number 3 is the Bermuda grass population is the largest than the lily population. Okay. Than the lily population. The clover population has the least number, and our basis for saying so is the density. So as you can see, 1600ths, that is for the density of Bermuda grass, 600ths for the density of lilies, and then 400ths for the density of clover. So ganun yung sequence nila from highest to lowest. The Bermuda grass has the greatest density at 1600ths, obviously. So for question number 5, your answers may include availability of sunlight, nutrients or water, presence of other organisms that feed on the plants, and the space available to each or for each individual plant. Those are accepted answers. If you want to ask me about whether or not your answer can be considered, you may message me through my Facebook page. The answer to question number 6, your answers may vary, pero any change in the factors listed in question number 5 could actually lead to a change in population density. So any change in any of these factors in the answer for question number 5 can lead to some changes in population density. The answer to question number 7, population density is based on the relationship between the needs of individual species and the complex mix of limiting factors. The differences might point to potential problems like pollutants or disease. If there's a problem about the population density of a particular organism in an ecosystem, we can point it out to some potential problems such as pollutants or disease. And we can go ahead and, after pointing them out, solve those problems. As they say, how are you even going to solve a problem you don't even know? So if you can't even point out kung ano yung problema, how are you going to begin in solving that particular problem, right? And so this is the first part of the third module, and I hope that you were able to get a very good score in the pre-assessment. Kasi medyo madali lang naman yun, and I know you are a very, very strong student. So next one is a discussion. I hope that you have understood that biodiversity is the amount of differences, okay, variation between the organisms present in a particular ecosystem. And that population is when you count the number of organisms representing a particular species. The last activity, two, we measured the indices for the density of a different population. So as you may have noticed, Bermuda grass has the highest population density at 0.16 or 1600ths. The Knowledge Catalog is a brand being developed by a teacher creator, yours truly, and I am a high school teacher in the Philippines, and I love developing content I find useful and needed to better my instruction. If you want to show your support, you may leave a like to this video, leave a positive comment. You may also subscribe to this channel and hit that bell button for you to receive notifications in case halimbawa kapag nag-upload ako ng bagong content. I haven't uploaded in a very long while, and I think na kapag in-upload ko tong video na to, it will be the last of the 4 videos na minsanan kong i-upload. So yeah, if you want to be notified about them, just hit the bell button. Also, remember, if you want to have a copy of this presentation, you may contact me through my Facebook page. The link is right there dun sa may description, and also dyan sa may first slide natin. I hope I'll see you in the next video in the series. Di pa tayo tapos. Good day, everyone.